Download that WOVU app so you can listen to us on the go. And also, don't forget, you can watch us on a StreamYard, and you can watch that through All Sports All Plays Network, as well as looking at my live Facebook page. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, we got to talk a little bit about, there's kind of a lot going on in the sports world today with baseball and basketball, but we still, wanted to talk a little bit about the Browns. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was Kevin Stefanski. And right now with Kevin Stefanski, one of the things that I am kind of concerned about is his play calling ability. One thing is, should Kevin Stefanski give up his play calling ability? He has an offensive coordinator, and why doesn't he let Alex Van Pelt call the plays? Alex Van Pelt had some success during the playoff game, and the Browns were able to win a playoff game without Kevin Stefanski being anywhere near the team. Obviously, they had their scripted plays that they start in the beginning, but as the game goes on, they get away from those scripted plays and they call situational plays. And Alex Van Pelt proved himself at the most opportune time that he can do it. So one of the things is, Kevin Stefanski is not excelling at his play calling. Our offense is one of the worst in the league. The past 6 games, we've generated less than 17 points, while holding other teams to a considerable difference. And this team hasn't been able to score. They haven't been able to be in sync. So I'm wondering, what is the problem? So what is the issue? Why can't Kevin Stefanski call a play? Why can't he call a game? What is going on? Nobody really has any answers. And Kevin Stefanski, in every press conference, he says, I got to do better. I got to do better. I got to do better. But he's not doing better. And that is an issue. That is a problem. And it's to the detriment of the Browns right now. If he can't call plays appropriately, he can't get this offense in the rhythm, why not let somebody else do it? One of the things is, I was against him calling the plays from the very beginning, because I feel like as a head coach, what you should be focused on is being a head coach of the team. And you don't need any outside distractions, because pretty much you are the CEO of a football team, and you need to focus on doing just that. So when you have taken on everything on your plate besides just being a coach, it has turned out to not be successful. It was successful last year, but one of the things is, this team had to deal with COVID last year, and COVID forced them to pay attention. A lot of things they did were online, Zooms, all that. They did not gather together, so it was a kind of a different setup, and it forced them to focus. Now there's no COVID, and they're allowed to kind of do whatever they want to at this point. So one of the things is, you're seeing a lack of focus, lack of discipline. One of the things that happened in the game on Sunday, we talked about this yesterday, was 12 men on the field. They call a timeout, and then they still go with 12 men on the field. And at one point they had 10 men on the field. Maybe you could be focused on this if you just were focused on just coaching and not calling the plays. Maybe that situation would kind of help if you didn't do that. I don't know. I'm no expert, but I think it's time for Kevin Stefanski to allow Alex Van Pelt to call the plays and give away that responsibility a little bit. Just because you allow somebody else to call the plays doesn't mean that you failed. We're looking at it like it's an ego thing as well. Kevin Stefanski doesn't want to give up play calling, because that's one of the things he said he was going to do. He felt like he could be successful at it. Well, right now it's just really not working out. And if you don't, call plays, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you fail. It just means that this is something that's not working out, and your strengths can be utilized elsewhere. That's where we're at right now, because the Browns have not been able to put any points on the board in these games. And they were in a position to win that game against Baltimore. They honestly were, but they couldn't pull it out. Their defense played lights out. They contained Lamar Jackson, which is something that most defenses struggle to do. And that's something that they've struggled in the past to do as a defense. So they were able to contain Lamar for the first time. They forced him into 4 interceptions, and we only got 3 points out of those interceptions, and those drives stalled. Part of that is play calling. Part of it was our receivers not being able to catch passes. Part of it was Baker not being able to connect. I don't really have too many issues with Baker and his performance on Sunday night. There were a lot of tight windows that he tried to throw the ball into because there was man coverage. So there were a lot of tight windows that he tried to throw the ball into just to make sure that his receiver could get it, but it didn't work. And there was a lot of drop balls. We read the stats yesterday, and Baker was played by the dropsies once again. So that doesn't help when his teammates don't catch the ball. But Kevin Stefanski honestly needs to consider doing something else. He needs to consider possibly allowing somebody else to call the plays because right now it's just not where it's at, and this offense isn't moving. They're stuck. They're not coming out excited. They're coming out flat, and they're not producing. So what do, Kevin Stefanski? What are you going to do that's going to be better for the team? Are you going to continue to allow this team to remain stagnant, not put any points on the board? Or what are you going to do? Because every week, the press conference, you almost don't want to listen to it because every week, the press conference is, I got to do better. I got to do better. I got to do better. We got to be better. Okay, how do you be better? How do you be better? You have a solid game plan. You call those plays, but you adjust those plays based on what the defense is giving you. And it doesn't appear that that's really taking place. So, how do you be better? How can you do better? Because you just had a winnable game against a division rival that was coming in high. You Baltimore without the field goal, they almost lost to a winless Detroit Lions. They almost lost to a winless Detroit Lions. So you had the opportunity to have this team on the brink, and you did. And unfortunately, special teams, which pretty much have been decent for us, we can't even lie. Special teams, unfortunately, there was a field goal that didn't connect. But if you had just been able to convert one touchdown off of those four interceptions that was giving you, we're talking something different today. We're talking something different going into the bye week. But we're still talking about the same old thing. And Baker with his press conference, sometimes I feel bad for him. I know he makes a ton of money, but sometimes I feel bad for Baker Mayfield because, his ability is being questioned, but, he's failing us. He's failing us. And his inconsistency, how much do you blame that on? How much can you blame his inconsistency on Kevin Stefanski? I don't think you really can. So who's to blame for everything? I blame a lot of it on the head coach because it is his job to execute. It's his job to put this team in favorable situations. And on Sunday, they were not put in favorable situations to win the game. So I blame a lot on him. I blame probably the second largest part is on Baker as a quarterback because he isn't playing better than he should be playing. And he definitely needs to. Hey, it's Willie. Hey, Willie. Willie's joining us. Hey, Willie. How you doing, Willie?
What's going on, world? Rachel, I'm kind of glad that you didn't put me in immediately because I got a chance to really hear what you were talking about.
I gotta hook you up.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
All
So,
right, they can hear you now.
okay, yeah. What's up, Cleveland? Cuyahoga, Northeast Ohio, Cleveland. Yeah. I'm kind of glad that I got a chance to hear what you were talking about in terms of Sunday night's game. And a lot of what you talked about Stefanski and Baker getting better, saying they need to get better. We need to get better. We need to get better. We need to get better. Maybe this is the best that they are.
That's a good point.
Maybe, just maybe they've reached the ceiling. Maybe they're bumping their head on that glass ceiling.
We don't want to admit that though.
Well, I'm not saying that it is,
because
but
we have hope.
Yeah,
we always have hope here in Cleveland.
But there are a lot of concerns on the squad. I mean, Conklin goes down again.
Yeah.
and he's done for the year, right?
First game back. Yeah, he
Yeah,
done with a patellar tendon tear.
yeah. And I have had a partially torn tendon, patella tendon tear, and it hurt. It hurts.
Did you see him collapse? There was a video when they first started walking him off the field, and then he just collapsed. So I believe it. I
Yeah,
believe it.
and he just got paid too, right?
Yeah, I believe he already had a contract. I believe.
But they
So
gave
I
him an
don't think that
extension,
was.
is what I'm
I don't,
saying.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so he got the extension. So now what was supposed to be the anchor of the most important or the best part of the offense is gone. So now the holes in the running game are going to be glaring. And with Baker's injuries, his shoulder, his knee, his ankle, his pancreas, his spleen, his teeth, whatever the case may be, I, I think we're gonna see a lot of what the Ravens did, or what the Ravens did. We're gonna see a lot of other teams do that, which is put more people in the box. The Browns don't have any real threats that will just scare you and keep defensive coordinators up at night at the wide receiver position. So look for a lot of man-to-man against the Browns and a lot of blitzing and a lot of stacking the box.
Because Bill Belichick kind of gave everybody the blueprint on how to beat the Browns. Now, Baltimore didn't beat the brakes off of us like they did, but they probably could have had Lamar not thrown the 4 interceptions.
And that's an anomaly. You're not going to see that from Lamar Jackson probably once every, I don't know, 7-8 years, I'm thinking, unless his arm just completely falls off and he's only to throw passes about 5 yards like Drew Brees ended up doing, later on in his career. But that is a situation where if the Browns could only get 3 points off of 4 turnovers, wow, that says a lot about, number one, what the Ravens defense was able to do. But then I think it says a lot about the absence of weapons on that team.
That's very true too. And did you see OBJ had a 54-yard touchdown from
Matt
Matt?
Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also saw him drop a pass again too in that game.
Oh, he did.
Yes, he did.
That one didn't make the highlight reel.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he had the big play, but the Rams are in trouble too. They're in trouble too because heart and soul of that offense was Robert Woods. Not only could he run every route in the tree, not only would he make blocks like Hines Ward, there's an intangible that dude brought to the table, basically saying he could run routes from the X, the Z, the Y, from anywhere. And OBJ that's not his strength. His strength is deeper routes, and run after the catch. But I think the Rams, looking at it from the standpoint of Deshaun Jackson, who had a big play against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, I think they're going to miss that a little bit because of not just the speed factor, but being able to, he would have been a perfect fit with OBJ on the Rams squad because he could take the top off the defense, and then you actually have two people that could get deep. With OBJ still able to run some intermediate routes, but Deshaun Jackson able to run those deep crosser routes, those deep over routes, those slant corners, those seam, all that stuff that requires a strong arm quarterback to get the ball out of his hands from one side of the field to the other on a dime. And with the Browns, they don't have a quarterback that can do that, and they definitely don't have the receivers to do that. And now with the offensive line and the shambles the way that it is, it's going to be tough sledding. And y'all got Baltimore again after the bye in Cleveland.
I don't know what the NFL was doing when they made the schedule.
But I'm thinking Rachel is looking like it's going to be a lot of the same things for the Browns offensively.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel the same, especially when they're not really being creative as much, And well, they're trying to be creative, but it didn't work out. That Jarvis, play where he usually throws the ball. This time, Baltimore was ready for that, and they surrounded him, and that was all she wrote. That was the fumble and the turnover.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't. It's just hard, Willie. It's really hard to put into words what's going on when you compare, and every season is different, but it's just really hard to understand what has happened from last year to this year and why, the coach has regressed. Baker, and Baker has been hurt. So I should have talked about his injuries more, but even when he was healthy, he wasn't great. We had a great season last year, but he one thing he's consistent at being inconsistent. And since the beginning, there's nothing we could do about his arm. He got to have surgery, but with all these injuries, Case probably should have been playing, but they say Case, is horrible. So I don't really know what to say or do anymore. It's just I don't. Nobody understands this team. How it goes from sugar to crap. In zero. In 30 seconds. It's just hard here. Right now. We got to take a break right quick though. We'll be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. Hey, thanks for coming on. Marshawn ain't gonna get on till about 6:20. It's hard doing a show by yourself when you just talking.
Yeah. You know that when you do a show by yourself, all that does is accentuate your skills. Because you're right, it's hard. It's hard doing a show by yourself. Um, so yeah, I got to get rid of corporate America, man, for real.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
feel you.
gosh.
I
Oh my
feel you.
gosh. But I got some things in the works. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna call a meeting probably in the next week or so.
Okay.
Yeah. We got some things going. I think it's gonna be upward and onward, like Buzz Lightyear.
Good. Got to get rid of corporate America, man. I'm sick.
Hmm.
Sick as hell of them too. All right, couple seconds left.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. I already read down the stuff at the very beginning how you can interact with us, but make sure you reach out to us on StreamYard. We love seeing your comments. You can download the WOVU app. You can listen to us live on WOVU.org, and you can also give us a call at 216-271-0959. Willie!
What it is.
I understand a team that you root for won on Saturday. So I'm going to let you have your little glory for a couple seconds. I'm going to let you have your glory. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What team are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh, I get it.
You was playing coy?
No,
You was playing with me?
I'm just gonna say, all season and up to this moment, you referred them to the team up north.
Yeah.
Okay, but then today, right now, moments ago, you mentioned them as the Michigan Wolverines.
Because I
That's
grew up a little bit. I grew up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little growth right there. I could appreciate that.
I
Um,
don't say those two words often, like at all, like ever.
well, I could tell you 5 words that haven't been said in 9 years, and that's Michigan Wolverines beat Ohio State.
I know.
So The game, I thought the quarterback play for Michigan, aside from the one interception, I thought he played a flawless game. I thought the running back duo, they really set the tone, and the offensive line just slaughtered Ohio State up front all day long. And what I really like too about Michigan's resolve is every time Ohio State had an answer, Michigan had a re-answer. And then
Or
Ohio
two.
State, yeah, and it went back and forth. So Ohio State with that potent offense could not ever really catch up. Now Stroud had a terrific game, as usual, but they got beat up front. And Mr. Aiden, the defensive end, that's going to be a top 5 draft pick, he said it best. He said that they had been disrespected by the Buckeyes, getting their jerseys stepped on and all that good stuff. And that dude was a one-man wrecking crew. You know who he reminded me of out there?
Who?
He reminded me a lot of Jared Allen.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a one-man wrecking crew. And look, Jim Harbaugh saved his job. He did.
Yeah.
He saved his job. Now, that doesn't mean that the pressure's not off, because they are expected to go into Indianapolis in the Big Ten championship game and beat the Iowa Hawkeyes. They got beat by a Purdue squad, you know, and Iowa does not have any real playmakers on the outside that will scare you. So the way they play offense, or whether their offense runs, is similar to what Michigan runs, in my opinion. And Michigan definitely has more weapons. So I think this matchup against Iowa is prime time for a Michigan Wolverines team that is set to make their inaugural appearance in the college football Final Four. Now, I know the rankings are coming out tonight. Ohio State's going to drop. Michigan's probably going to rise to probably number 3, maybe even number 2.
Yeah. I'm thinking number 2.
Yeah, I'm thinking it could be number 2 as well, which is funny because, well, it's not really funny, because if Ohio State, if Michigan State would have had a better showing against Ohio State, they may have had something to argue about.
Yeah,
in the fact that they beat Michigan earlier in the year. But I'm happy for those guys, man. I'm happy for us as a fan base. And dun 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 dun. Did you see? Did you asked me the question, Juwan Howard? Did you see? Did you see? Yeah, Juwan. Yeah, Juwan Howard was out there. Yo, Jim, you finally did it, man. Welcome to the big leagues or whatever. So yeah, it was really cool to see.
Yeah. Now Ohio State fans, we just waiting on whatever bowl we go to. We don't even care anymore. For us, it's CFP or bust, because we so used to being there. So it's like, I don't care no more. Whatever happens, happens at this point, since we done. Usually when we play Michigan, something is always on the line, and they play spoiler a few times. This year it was a national championship. I don't think we was ready for Georgia, but you never know. Yeah, so let's talk about some of these big paydays that they're being given. So Mel Tucker set the bar, so now he's being paid the least. But man, how about Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame for LSU, which I don't know if it's a good fit, but whatever. And Lincoln Riley going to USC. There's rumors in the air that Ryan Day could possibly leave Ohio State for not the Cincinnati Bears, but the Chicago Bears.
What?
Yeah, that's a rumor I'm hearing.
Well, let's talk about Lincoln Riley and his exodus from Norman.
Man, how about that contract though? Paying off twice over asking price for his house.
Yeah, but okay, that's cool. I mean, I'm not really talking about the money. I'm talking about what he did to get the money by going to USC. Number one, He was not going to win a national championship at Oklahoma anyway, for two reasons. One, because it's Oklahoma.
Hmm.
Two, they're going to the SEC soon. So you as a head coach of a Power 5 team that has made perennial trips to the college Final Four and is so used to winning the Big 12, now your legacy looks to have been possibly threatened by going to the SEC, by going up against Nick Saban, Kirby Smart,
Slaughtered.
yeah, Lane Kiffin, who else? Dan Mullen at Florida, who I think he's actually on his way out too. Now Brian
I was about
Kelly.
to say.
Now Brian Kelly at LSU. So
Yeah.
you factor in the fact that OU was going to the SEC, and now he's going to have to commit or compete with Nick Saban for recruits, not just in Louisiana and Texas and Florida, California, wherever. That may be the reason why he went to USC, to keep those kids in California from going to Alabama or Florida or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's in a position to really. Now Chip Kelly is there at UCLA, he's done a phenomenal job. He's turned that program around for real. And so Chip Kelly is there, and Luke, Riley, he's going to be there. So now he's going to possibly turn OU into USC, or I'm sorry, USC into OU.
Do you think that could be done?
Yeah. Those jobs, that Notre Dame job, the LSU job, the Oklahoma job, those are some of the best jobs in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And the talent pool in California and Arizona is off the charts.
Yeah, now he can go out to the Pac-12.
And it's gonna be really, really competitive in the Pac-12 with him at USC. Now it's gonna take a couple years for them to get anywhere.
Yeah.
But USC and UCLA, that rivalry is about to be rekindled to the degree that we saw back in the 90s and the late 80s when Troy Aikman was there. And of course, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindale White, all those guys, Keyshawn Johnson, all those guys. But then in the North, Pac-12 North, Oregon is still the cream of the crop. Mm-hmm. So you put those three teams together along with Utah. Yeah, it's going to make for some fireworks out there in Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah. I don't really watch those games though because I'd be asleep.
Yeah, and I think the West, or the networks rather, particularly Fox, they've done a better job with getting those teams or getting those games on at a more reasonable hour for those of us that are on the eastern side of the country. Because I watched Stanford and Notre Dame on Saturday, and that game actually started at, I want to say, at 7:30 our time.
Okay.
Which normally is 9:30 our time and 10:30 y'all's time. And, Stanford's been down for the last couple years. I mean, they had a winning season last year, but this year they stepped back a lot. I mean,
yeah, that game. Who did they play on Saturday? I'm like,
they
man,
lost.
this is terrible.
They lost to Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, that was terrible. I caught just a millisecond of that.
Yep. So, but shout out to my guy Jonathan McGill, safety for the Cardinal. He got another pick in that game, and that dude is a ball hawk, playmaker. He could actually play both sides if they allowed him to. He could do special teams as well. And I've watched his game grow from when he was a freshman in high school to now.
We gotta take a break. That was perfect timing. I know that last break time passed fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we here again at the 30. So we're gonna be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. That break came quick. All right, welcome back to Her and Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I'm here with Willie Epteen Jr., Mr. Epteen. What's up, sir?
What's happening, y'all?
Yeah, man, it's a lot of people out here making some money nowadays. You got these college coaches making some money, these off-the-wall contracts, and then you got baseball people signing because of there's probably going to be a lockout. You think there's going to be a lockout?
God, I hope not. Baseball is ascending in terms of its popularity, and this would be a huge blow to that ascension. So I hope the heck not.
Some people got paid today. So Texas Rangers just had a whole bunch of money to just spend willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it.
They did.
Marcus Semien, I don't got the amounts in front of me, but Marcus Semien, what's the other guy? I forgot the pitcher. I forgot his name.
Well, they got Corey Seager from
Corey Seager.
Yeah, yes. They got Corey Seager from the Dodgers, and they're not done. They are not done.
Where they get all this money from?
This is a huge market. DFW is like the 5th largest market in the country.
They got that oil money out there, man.
Yeah,
them contracts.
But yeah, so shout out to the Rangers, man, and my favorite player, Jose Trevino, great guy. He was a Roberto Clemente award finalist, as he was nominated. And he was the nominee for the Rangers. There's one player per team, like the Walter Payton Award in the NFL, and I got a chance to go and hang out with him at his annual toy drive out north of the city, and sat down with him for a little while. A couple of his teammates rolled through. AJ Alexi came through. He was out there. Starting pitcher. He was actually a rookie this past year. Got a chance to chop it up with him for a little bit. And Jose, I think his contract may be up this year, and I'm not quite sure if he's going to be back. But it's like I told him, man. I texted him a lot during the season, and I even told him, I said, "Yo, man, I'm rooting for you, except for when y'all play the A's."
What he said when he said that?
I mean, he understood. So
he understood the assignment.
Yeah, it's like I told him. I said, "Dude, what? It's kind of troublesome for me, and your loyalties become split when your favorite player in the entire sport plays on a team that is your arch rival in the same division." You dig?
Yes.
Yep. So, but the Rangers, man, I think they're positioning themselves to become better contenders. Definitely what they were or have been the last 2 or 3 years. Coming close to over 90 wins one season, or I'm sorry, close to 100 losses one season, and over 90 losses last year. So those two dudes, man, and Marcus Semien, he gambled on himself, like Dak Prescott did, like so many other people did, signing a 1-year deal in Toronto, and now he's got the big money. I'm gonna look up his contract here in just a second, as I see Marshawn, the man, has chimed in.
What's up, man? My bad. I got stuck at work and got into a conversation about college football, so I lost track of time a little bit.
What's good, man?
You just missed our college football conversation. We talking about all these big money contracts in baseball, and how the Guardians ain't signed nobody. They spent $0.
I'd be surprised if they did sign somebody.
And everybody out here getting paid. And Willie was just gonna look up Marcus Semien's contract. Javier Baez got paid, and all these other baseball players are getting paid right now. So I ain't mad at them. Get all the money that you can, because it's gonna be a lockout. I think there's gonna be a lockout.
Yeah, I mean, everybody keeps saying that it's gonna be one. And I mean, I first heard about it. I first heard that it was potentially going to happen. I want to say who was that? Willie, who was that first? Was it the Cardinals that signed like a pitcher to like a kind of it was like a 4-year, $44 million contract? can't think of whoever. I think it was the Cardinals that signed a pitcher to a 4-year, $44 million contract. And I was listening to Quick Pitch, and they was talking about how they expect a lot of teams to kind of quick trigger on a lot of deals early because of a possible lockout. So,
Marcus Simeon's contract, 7 years, $175 million. That's some good change. Corey Seager, 10-year, 325 M's. That's more than A-Rod got back in the day.
Yeah, I was trying to do the math on that.
32 and a half a year.
Yeah. So
32 and a half.
And then the Mariners went out and got the AL Cy Young Award winner from the DJs, Robbie Ray, 5 years, $115 million. He can opt out after the third year. So they may opt him out because really Robbie Ray, I mean, he ain't no Max Scherzer who got the 4-year or 3-year, $120 million contract with the Mets.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, it's crazy. It is crazy with their
3-year, $130 million.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that?
That's $40+ million a year.
$43 million a year.
Oh my God.
But you know what though? The Mets are making moves, man. The Mets got Starling Marte from the A's, 4 years, $78 million.
That was a good pickup.
Atwater,
I like Starling Marte.
Yeah, he's very athletic, and he will be their answer to what Yoenis Cespedes used to be. So that's a great pickup for them. And they actually got some good bats in that lineup with the Polar Bear and Conforto and Brandon Nimmo. I mean, they get this kid, and now they also have Eduardo Escobar, who signed a 2-year, $20 million deal. They're not done either. It's crazy.
That could be scary, but the Rangers were terrible. What do you think that their fortunes could be coming in the next season? They was one of the worst teams in baseball, maybe behind the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, I think for the Rangers, their thing has always been a lack of starting pitching. Now, the COVID-shortened year was pretty good as they had 2 separate pitchers to both strike out over No, I'm sorry. It's 2019 when they had 2 pitchers that struck out over 200 batters apiece. I don't think that's ever happened in that team's history, but that's been their issue really all along. Even when they had the flights of Josh Hamilton and all those guys, man, that could hit the ball out of the park. When Josh Hamilton was winning home run derbies and considered to be the best player in the game by some people, they've always had the offensive prowess to do it. But yeah, if they can get, and I don't know why it is. I mean, we used to joke and say, well, you know what? No pitcher wants to come here because it's too hot. Well, they have a retractable roof now, so that's no excuse. Brand new ballpark, that's no excuse. Even though the park is still pretty much, I think it's still pretty hitter friendly. Still, I mean, every park is hitter friendly these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in baseball, they induce that ball, so.
Marshawn, the pitcher you were talking about was Steven Matz, came to the Cardinals. 4 years, $44 million.
Yeah, that was a guy who Stephen Cohen got a little teed off about because him and his agent had promised the Mets that they were going to sign with them, and like within 24 hours, they took a deal with the Cardinals, and didn't give the Mets a chance to match that offer, and it kind of ticked off the
breaking news
pretty well.
We got breaking news.
Yeah, what's up?
LeBron James has just entered the health and safety protocol.
That's 3 weeks.
No. Well, it doesn't say he had. It doesn't say he has COVID. It just says he's entering the protocol. So he probably.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Because Kevin Love was gone for that amount of time.
Yeah, Kevin Love, Joel Embiid, Lauri Markkanen, the list goes on. If you enter the safety protocol, you're out. A minimum of I think it's 5 games, so that's roundabout to about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. So it's not looking too good for Lakers then. Jeez,
Yo, we got some social media comments, y'all.
Talk to
Can
me.
you read them all, please?
I sure will. Some moron that runs the Shakeback Media Group says I'm in. I think y'all know who that moron is. Freddie Henderson. What up, Freddie? What up, Rachel? And then
What
Coach
up, Freddie?
Dante. What up, guys? George B. Well, we haven't seen George B in a minute. George says a couple things. Baseball will have a lockout tonight. What are the children fighting for? A salary cap. Well, it's not the children, that's the parents.
Mm-hmm.
The parents want to cap the allowances for the kids. And then he also says, oh, he actually has a couple other. Max Scherzer for 130 M's. We did say that. And then he says the Mets have what y'all don't in Cleveland. $sign, $sign.
Yeah.
That's why they trying to find a minority owner to take about 30% off of 30% of the team and eventually take full ownership.
Yeah, but they tried to do that with the guy who ended up buying the Kansas City Royals, John. I can't remember his last name, but they tried to do
it was the Hunt family.
Nah,
the Hunt family owns the Chiefs.
No, Clark Hunt, don't he own the Royals as well?
Well, y'all keep talking. I'll find out.
Yeah, the Royals owner dude is John something. I can't remember his last name.
I thought it was the Hunt family because I thought that's how Patrick Mahomes ended up getting that share of the Royals is through Clark Hunt by him having some ties to. He may not be the sole owner, but I know he has. Clark Hunt has some equity in the Royals because that's how Patrick Mahomes got equity in the Royals. It's through Clark Hunt when he signed that contract.
Nah, it's John Sherman.
Okay, John Sherman.
Yeah, John Sherman. He's the owner and the governor, I guess, of hashtag Royal Blue or Stay Royal, whatever that stupid hashtag was for them. You talk about a team that has fallen down, but they actually played pretty well last year in the Central. They unloaded some pieces at the deadline to include World Series MVP Jorge Soler, who, Jorge Soler to me was probably one of the top 4 or 5 players in the majors that nobody ever talked about. I know that's probably under y'all's skin because he was with the rival.
Yeah. We don't care.
I don't pay attention. Yeah, I don't really care too. I'm not really that big on baseball. They care. Only team I don't like, as far as when it comes to the Indians, Guardians, Indians, is the Yankees. I hate when the Guardians go up against the Yankees because something bad always happens. So that's the only team
that's been in the playoffs lately.
Yeah,
that's only been in the playoffs.
Other than that, I actually enjoy. Yeah, outside the Guardians, I tend to root for other teams in the division. Shoot, when the Tigers was on, when they had Scherzer and they had all of
Verlander.
Man, it seems like Matt Scherzer have been around.
I was rooting for them. I actually wanted to see them do good. I rooted for Chicago this year. I wanted to see Chicago do good. I wanted to see at a point in time.
The Twins?
I don't think I ever wanted to see. No, I don't think I ever wanted. I actually didn't like the Twins because they stopped our run. I didn't mind the Royals. I actually didn't mind the Royals because I liked Alberto, the shortstop. I thought he was pretty dope. So, yeah. I guess only team in the division you can't say is the Twins. I don't really care too much for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but John Sherman, he pulled out, and that's when they really clamped down on money. So the Guardians are looking for a new minority owner. So hopefully they find one so they can actually pay some players and retain some players, and we can really make a playoff push. But unfortunately, because we got to get the break. But I was just scared that when Tampa Bay made the World Series, the Indians would be like, see, that's why we don't got to spend no money when you have, a team that has a little payroll, because the Indians are notorious for having one of the lowest payrolls in all of baseball. When you had a team that made it to the World Series like that, that just gave the Indians even more excuse to be like, we don't need to pay people anymore. So that was always just my concern. But as we can see, they've done nothing. So it's quite unfortunate. But, they are known as one of the best front offices and all of baseball. So we'll see what happens. And we'll be right back, fellas. We got to take a quick break. You're listening to Her and Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Hey Willie,
What's up?
hey, you mind if we start at 8:15? Because I'm trying to get some food when I get off work. Just go grab something quick. 'Cause my job is giving away burgers to beer for free. So I was trying to grab that. That way I ain't got to zoom home because it's snowing here, and I'll be ready.
It is snowing there?
Over where I'm at, yeah, it's snowing real bad over where I'm at.
Yeah, you can just come on when you're ready because
Okay.
the network, they're pretty strict about me starting on time. So
Okay. All right, that's cool. I'm gonna try to get there. Let me get home as quick as possible. I had a long day, man. I'm tired. I'm beat up, mentally exhausted.
man, we were just talking about firing corporate America.
Nah,
But
I'm
I
saying,
think I have a way. I think I have a way.
All right. Welcome back to Her and Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. Willie,
Yeah.
did you watch any basketball last night?
I know that the Cavs beat the Mavs.
Yeah, they were right down the street from you. Well, maybe not down the street. I guess you live kind of far.
I could take the train downtown to the arena. I've done that several times.
Yeah, I should have, but I didn't realize that we was playing the Mavs because I don't pay attention as much to the teams when we playing on the road as I do when we here at home. So I should have told you, hey, the Cavs are in town. You should go down and watch them. I wasn't expecting them to beat the brakes off of the Mavs like that. I wasn't expecting that at all. But
Why not? Why not?
That bad?
The Mavs can't guard. The Mavs is a big team. They can't guard. They're not going to be able to guard a team that's built the same way as they are. I see. This is probably one of the only games I actually said the Cavs better win. You
Really?
you didn't need nobody to defend Luka. You just shut down everybody else. The Cavs should have one. Now Bucks, Nets. I don't know. I think the Cavs right now is better than the Lakers, but
they are.
I still think I'm still going to be hard on the Cavs until I feel like they get a wing player. They need a solid guy that can hold down the wing where you don't have to put guys like Markkanen out there, where you don't got to put guys like Lamar Stevens out there. I think that's what JB is probably in Kobe's office right now. Like, hey man, I need a wing. I need a wing player bad. But
so let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a question about the Cavs. What's the feeling in Cleveland about the Cavs playing without Colin Sexton? Will they be a more efficient team? Not necessarily better, but would they be more efficient without him?
Yes. Go ahead, Rachel.
I agree because the Cavs need people who can get their shot up off the dribble. And Colin, they call him the young bull, and he just go in there and get his points. Like, it don't matter, he just get them. But once they get a wing player who can create their own shot off the dribble, like Colin can, I think that they'll be fine as well. Darius is doing that right now, but I think this team is kind of like Colin never played here. It's kind of weird how like we forgot about Colin all like that. But yeah, once they get somebody that can create their own shot off the dribble, I think that they'll be fine as well.
Here's the thing though, and Marshawn hit on it perfectly. In a game where you allow the opposing team to shoot 56% from the field, 53% from the land of three, and out assist you by 9 assists and beat you up on the boards by 15, along with points in the paint by 14, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. It's just not going to happen. And that's exactly what the Mavs did, or really in this case didn't do. And that's been concern for a Dallas Mavericks team that is loaded offensively, especially with Luka Doncic, who is still injured a little bit, if you ask me. But yeah,
he went off last night though and got his points.
Yeah, but they got to get better defensively, man, and he needs some help. I know Tim Hardaway Jr., he got the big deal in the offseason, and many people were considering him the corner piece of the trade that involved himself and Kristaps Porzingis and sending DSJR to the Knicks. But man, he needs to be the THJR that we saw last year and not the one that we saw in New York.
Agree. I mean, to answer your question before I got cut off, can the Cavs play better without Colin Sexton? Yes. I've been screaming this for a while. Colin Sexton, there is no NBA recipe. There's no coach. There's no GM, a championship-minded GM that could say, I could go out there and win with 2-6-1 guards. Portland is trying it with Dame, who some say he's 6'2". I think Dame is 6'1". And CJ McCollum, who they say 6'3", and I say he's 6'2". No, they've been together, 7 years, 8 years? And the farthest they've been is the Western Conference Finals. But I mean, look what Golden State was hurt. The Lakers was not really playing well. So I honestly don't think that the Cavs are better with Colin Sexton. And I think Colin Sexton kind of bit himself in the foot by not taking that contract, because I think he's going to end up in the same situation that Lauri Markkanen is in, where the team don't sign you and they trade you off to somebody for another piece and a signing trade or something like that. But I think it's going to show, especially when we get to the trade deadline this year and the Cavs have to offload either one of the two, Markkanen or Rubio, for a wing player, and they continue to win and probably sneak into the playoffs. But no, I definitely I wanted Colin gone this summer. That way it benefited Colin. But I mean, the Cavs start different.
Yo, what y'all think about this winning streak that the Phoenix Suns are currently on?
How many games is it now?
They started
14.
the year 2-4.
Yeah.
They're now 18-4.
Yeah, they're like on a 16-game winning streak. I think. I mean, who did they lose? Nobody. So it's just them picking up the continuity from last year. Phoenix is real. You got a floor general like Chris Paul. You got Devin Booker. You got Jay Crowder. You got Miles, I was about to call him Miles Bridges. Miles, what's his name, man? Can't think of his name. The guy from Villanova that got drafted. But no, they got some team. I personally felt like they could have beat Mikal Bridges. I felt like they could have beat Milwaukee in the finals if they would have had a guy to back up DeAndre Ayton. Once DeAndre Ayton got tired, they had no rim protection, and that allowed Giannis, bad leg and all, to do whatever he wanted to do. So I think if Phoenix stay healthy, I could potentially see Phoenix, Golden State, or Phoenix, Denver, or somebody in the Western Conference Finals. I think Phoenix is real. And I definitely think they're real.
And they addressed that very thing that you talked about, Marshawn, because they have JaVale McGee there backing up DeAndre Ayton, and he's having a pretty good year.
He had a great game against the Cavs as well, but the Cavs was hanging with him. The Cavs was leading, and then at the end, I told you, somebody told me that good teams just got to play good for 5 minutes, and they'll be able to win a game, and that's kind of what happened. It became the Chris Paul show, and JaVale McGee actually, contributed a lot down towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking like they learned from their deficiencies in the matchup against the Bucks by getting McGee. And they also have Frank Kaminsky. He ain't no household name, but in that system, he can flourish, especially in terms of being a body that can knock some people around and get some dirty rebounds and all that kind of stuff.
And he can play his natural position. I think Frank reminds me of Cape the Unicorn, Kristaps Porzingis, Anthony Davis, and the guy Evan Mobley. You put them at the 4 with that body frame, they're gonna get beat up, man. They get injured a lot. And I think now that you got a guy like McGee, Frank can go back to his primary position at the 4, stretched, because Frank can stretch the floor really well. He can shoot, rebound, everything. So, that makes him effective because they drafted a guy from my school, from University of Maryland, and I thought Jalen Stick-Smith was gonna pan out, but man, I don't know. I don't know what happened. So, and he was supposed to be that guy that actually backed up Ayton and gave him some breathing room and played that defensive anchor and spread the floor. But he hasn't panned out for Phoenix. So I mean, I like the fact that Frank, JaVale, and others are stepping up to make this team really good. I definitely enjoy watching Phoenix a lot.
So who y'all think gonna be in the Western Conference Final? I'm sorry, Willie. Y'all think Phoenix and Golden State gonna be there?
Man, it's too early about that.
It's too early to say, man. I say let us get to at least All-Star break, because I could pick Golden State today and knock on. I don't have no wood to knock on, but Draymond could get injured tomorrow, who I think is the heartbeat of that team, and that blows up everything. I mean, I'm not wishing any injuries on Steph Curry, but Steph Curry ain't exactly the most durable player in the league. He twists the ankle or something, and he done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I honestly don't believe that Klay Thompson can come in and be his old self. A shooter, yeah, you don't lose shooters' touch, but can he be that lockdown defender that he once was? I don't know. So it's hard for me to pick
Probably
that right
not.
now. It's
Probably
hard for
not.
me. They're the most. I tell you this, them in Atlanta are the deepest roster teams in the NBA. So the expectation is for them to be there, but I mean, like me and Willie say, it's hard. I can't even pick who's gonna be sixth man of the year right now. It's only 20 games in. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I like both of them. Know a lot.
I can tell you who's gonna be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I know that answer right away. It's gonna be Brooklyn and Miami. I don't think Milwaukee is gonna make it. I think it's gonna be Brooklyn and Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals.
What's Milwaukee's record? Let me look that up right quick. Where we at? Oh, doggone it. There's nowhere quick that I can go to just look it up. Oh, well. Well, guys, that's our time anyway.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so we about to be out, but you can join us back tomorrow for Her in the Huddle. Marshawn, thank you for joining us. And Willie has something going on, but we are out of here, and have a good night. Thanks, guys.
All right, Rachel.
All right, I'll holla at you. Thank you. I'll see you later.
Right, no problem.
All right, bye.